Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So in the previous session, we have to look at the banker acceptance as one of the money market instruments. Okay, for today's session, we want to look at the second money market instrument. Okay, we call it as a negotiable instruments of deposit or NID. So what is NID? NID is a document issued by an authorized bank which certifies that a certain sum in ringgit has been deposited with the bank for a stated rate of interest with a specified maturity date. So NID is actually issued or is actually document or certificate issued by the bank to the depositor to confirm or to certify that the depositor have deposited some amount of money in the bank for specific maturity date. Alright. So there is the first day of the issuing dates. So depositor, they will place some amount of money. Okay, say place some amount of money, and then the issuer or the bank, in order to certify that the depositor have deposit money, so the bank or the issuer have issued the NIDs to the depositor. Okay, which is equivalent to the amount of deposit. Okay, so the depositor, when the depositor decide to hold the NIDs until the maturity date, at the end of the maturity date, the depositor will redeem the certificate to the bank. And the bank, they need to pay principal plus interest. So this is considered as a interest-based instrument, because the investor receive or the depositor receive the principal plus interest. Okay, so there is a situation where the depositor, they decide not to hold the NIDs until maturity date, so they can sell the NIDs at the secondary market, which is to the investor. When the depositor sell the NIDs to the investor will pay to the depositor, which is equivalent to the amount of NIDs. Okay, so the investor, at the end of the maturity date, the investor are entitled to redeem the NIDs to the bank, and then the bank will pay to the investor, which is principal plus interest. So the investor can also sell to another investor. They can also decide to sell to another investor. Let's say investor B. So the investor B, at the end of the maturity date, will have an entitled to redeem the certificate and get the principal plus interest. Right. There are four broad categories of NIDs. Okay, we call it as a short-term negotiable instruments of deposit, SNID, long-term negotiable instruments of deposit, which is LNID, zero coupon negotiable instruments of deposit, ZNID, and also floating rate negotiable instruments of deposit, FRNID. So let's continue with the next video.